Most new car radiators are made of aluminum, as thin as the top of this can. But Prestone antifreeze bonds with aluminum, forming the Prestone zone of protection against corrosion. It's your car. Protect it in the Prestone zone.
Listen, if you buy a Sega Saturn before September 30th, you get 3 free games! That's $150 value!
Dr. Forrest, dial 118, please.
Sega! Saturn!
Should a man be judged by what he wears? Are you really any less of a man because you don't wear the right shirt or pants? Should you have to wear a shirt or pants at all? Ask yourself, hasn't our society advanced to the point where man...
So we're about set for the final 15 minutes of play here in Austin. 48-0. Texas is leading over Texas Tech.
Congratulations today to Danny Ford. He won the West. Pretty well put it away. And done an excellent job there rebuilding the Arkansas Razorback program. Not so sure about the prize, though. Have to play Florida.
Hands fired, coming to the right. Boy, that's for sure.
Florida does such a good job offensively of positioning their players in their offensive scheme, and they're able to run the football, along with throwing it as well as anybody in the country.
That was a gain of 8 on the play, so it was 2nd and 2 for the Red Raiders. Hands fired again. Chris Carter with the stop, and let's check in once again with Mike Tirico. Mike?
Ron, UCLA did not win their game.
So smooth. That cut right there, the move, that the hips go one direction, the rest of the body stayed put. Hit at the line of scrimmage. He'll have 1 maybe, and that's going to be about it. Lloyd, number 61, there to make the tackle for Texas.
Byron Hanspard came into the game tonight averaging 5 yards a carry. See 108 yards tonight for the sophomore tailback, and he's going to have many, many good games from here on in. This is one ball game. Does not make a season.
All he can do is just run out of bounds. Chris Atkins and Tony Brackens again forced him out of the pocket.
Chris Atkins, as we said earlier, 292 pounds chasing down Zevi Lethridge, and they have just been in the backfield all night on them. But again, they forced the throws, they forced the score, but the pressure again. Brackens is the first one to Zevi, forces him outside, and then you see number 96, Chris Atkins, closing in.
Brackens.
I was going to say, Tony Brackens is going to catch a lot of people's eye tonight with this performance.
And Texas Tech takes a timeout. We'll take it with them. We'll be right back. Giants, 39 combined coaching years, 18 Southwest Conference championships, and they both stepped down in 1976 on the same day. Both were rewarded in 1983 with a selection to the National Football Hall of Fame. Here's our score, 48-0, and you see the time remaining, 13 minutes, 19 seconds. DeBuck, who had just gone in motion, is who the pass was intended for.
Ron, I've run into a lot of former Southwest Conference coaches here tonight. Freddie Akers is here tonight in the booth about 2 down from us, and said he's doing a post-game show. And Grant Tapp here is here tonight, the former Baylor head coach. Did an outstanding job at Baylor.
Yep, he did. You see Adams back deep as Cade prepares to punt it away. It is returnable. And he slipped down at the 10-yard line. With that, let's check in with Mike Adamle down on the sideline.
Well, Coach Gottfried, you just mentioned this legendary name in Southwest Conference coaching circles, Grant Teaff, now the executive director of the American Football Coaches Association. And, Coach, if I may call you that, some exciting announcements for the upcoming holidays and the postseason.
Well, we have become really partners with ESPN and, of course, the Hula Bowl. We have had since 1945 an All-American team picked by the coaches, and our Coaches of the Year picked by the coaches, which we think is the important one because our coaches picked it. ESPN will announce that team on Christmas Eve, and then, of course, at the Hula Bowl, we'll have the announcement of our 4 National Coaches of the Year, so we're very excited about it.
Earlier tonight, Darrell Royal was waxing nostalgic about the Southwest Conference, and I know that you have some very, very vivid memories of your days at Baylor.
Well, I really do, and you know, I grew up here in Texas and dreamed of being a coach in the Southwest Conference, and to see its demise has been painful, but I'm excited about the future. Many great things happened in 81-year history of the Southwest Conference, and the teams that will be now going into the WAC, into the Big 12, will do some great things in the future.
Maybe a tough question, is it ultimately good for the game of college football losing a conference and forming a new one like the Big 12?
Well, you know, you have to look on the positive side, and I say that it's going to be good, particularly for those teams involved. The Big 12 will now be one of the strongest conferences in America.
Are you pleased with where the game is at today?
Well, I am. We've made a lot of progress. I think things are going well. We have some real concerns that we're dealing with now. One is this agent situation. We called a summit meeting on that to try to solve that problem. We've been dealing with gender equity, and of course our dealings with the NFL has been positive as of late. We're concerned about high school football and the Pee-wee type football in America. We need to get people more interested in the great game of football.
With people like yourself heading things up, I know that we're headed in the right direction. Great to see you, Grant.
Very much.
Thanks for being with us. Thanks, Ron, Mike.
Mike, thanks very much. That was McGarity on the carry.
Ron, Grant Teaff is the right man to lead college football, heading the American Football Coaches Association. Took over for a great guy in Charlie McClendon. And now Grant Teaff has some really tough issues to deal with. The Title IX situation, the agent situation we've talked about before, where the NFL's got to get involved. They've got to help college football by decertifying these guys who are going to sign players early. So he's the right guy to lead them all.
I agree with you. Known him for a long time. He's a quality guy. McGarity again. Breaks out of a tackle, breaks out of another, and he's all the way out to midfield. 19 yards for the redshirt freshman out of San Antonio.
Texas really has some impressive backs. When you look at Sean Mitchell's a junior, Garrett McGarity's a freshman, Ricky Williams a freshman. This is a pretty impressive group. But the offensive line of Texas tonight has really kind of controlled the line of scrimmage of the Texas Tech defense, and it's opened up some pretty good holes. But the key to this whole night, for me, has been James Brown. He has been the key to this whole offensive football game.
Walton, Richard Walton, who's been directing this attack since they took over on this series, running the ball club. A redshirt freshman out of Bay City, 6'5", 217. Richard has he got to play against Hawaii. You see his numbers: 9 of 19, 139 yards, 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions. And I'm sure that John Mackovic is terribly excited about getting him some playing time here tonight.
You're always one play away, so you need to get the backup quarterback as much work as you can get. No better time than this.
Counter tray. This is Clayton. And let's check in with Mike Tirico. Mike, what do you have for us?
All right.
Okay, Mike, thank you.
We're going to have Mike Tirico sign a banner and get it to you as our player of the game.
I just apologize to the people because I know how it sounds. I'm listening to it real close.
You sound great.
Jeffrey Clayton, the ball carrier. That's Sean Banks, who hits him in the backfield and knocks him down for a loss. You know, Mike, as we come down under 10 minutes to play in this ball game, and Grant Teaff talking about the great years of the Southwest Conference, and Darrell Royal earlier tonight, I just want to say one thing, though, and I mentioned the fact that people get too involved in some of the things that happened in the 80s. This part of the world is not going to remember the Southwest Conference because it died, though. They're going to remember the Southwest Conference because it lived, and it lived darn well for 82 years. And they've got such a great legacy that they leave and to hand off to their new partner in the Big 12.
Great history of players, teams, football coaches, basketball, the whole gamut.
Vossick's punt touched dead around the 20. We'll be right back. Some of the great players, some of the legends of the Southwest Conference. Will this young man right here join them? Tony Brackens. Well, when you look at those numbers tonight, you have to say people that play against him definitely know who he is. Sonny Cavazos is coming at quarterback, number 15. Hobbs gets the handoff. Cavazos is a junior out of Weslaco, 6'1", 200 pounds.
Good chance for Dick Winder to get his backup quarterback in the ball game, but I'm sure both these coaching staffs want this clock to move now and get out of here without getting any players hurt late in this ball game. Get good experience here in the last 8 minutes, 29 seconds for their backups.
Reminding you once again that every 10, 30, and 50 minutes after the hour, we update you on all the scores from the world of sports, including the top 25 that you're seeing right now. Cavazos, the southpaw, has it complete to Mitchell. Out to the 41-yard line. It's good for 18 yards as Trey Thomas is there to make the tackle for the Texas Longhorns.
That's a pretty good catch by Stacey Mitchell. Came into this game tonight with just 3 catches. Good route, corner route.
Zebby Lethridge on the sideline, standing behind his head coach. Hands fired close to the 45-yard line. Byron Lloyd there defensively for Texas.
One statistic that will be broken again for Zebby Lethridge tonight. He came into this game having either ran or passed for a touchdown in each of his 16 career starts. So that appears to be going by the wayside also.
Mike, just what you were talking about, as if things have not been bad enough for the Red Raiders tonight. They're down 48-0, but this is Hansbrough.
You can't afford to get him hurt here in this ball game. He has really had a good ball game, over 100 yards.
Well, Mike, that is a knee that they were attending to.
Going to watch here at the end of the play. Byron Hansbrough getting hit by Dwight Kirkpatrick, injuring a knee.
Beal Scoble, the intended receiver, incomplete.
Other news in football, and I know you traveled around, did some NFL games. I cannot believe, being from Ohio, that the Cleveland Browns will move out of Cleveland, Ohio. There's just no way that's going to happen. Now, I know all the reports are that they're considering Baltimore, but I just do not believe Art Modell will move that football team out of Cleveland.
Lantos right in the middle, has it complete across midfield. That's Donnie Hart. Couldn't agree with you more, as it looks like Cavazos who was shaken up on the play. The way these owners are talking about moving franchises around, they're going to run out of cities.
Well, the Cleveland fans have been great over the years. They've backed that ball club, and just can't, in my wildest dreams, imagine that happening.
So there's a timeout right now. We'll take it with them. 7:29 left in the ball game.
Sports Center.
Well, time is back in, and Cavazos was shaken up, so we're going to get a third quarterback for the Texas Tech Red Raiders. It's Matt Tittle, 6'2", 195, a redshirt freshman out of Flower Mound, Texas. Same place that the Fiebiger brothers are from. with the carry.
The injury to Byron Hanspard really plays in this ballgame, Ron, because you got such an outstanding back. Texas Tech cannot afford to lose him.
Check in with Mike Adamley quickly. Mike, what do you have?
Boy, Mike Gottfried, indeed they can't. And the preliminary good news, it's not the knee, but I see the trainers applying one of those inflatable casts to his lower leg, his left leg. They're going to take him in for x-rays. They're not quite sure. Let's hope it's not a broken bone.
Trainer, Texas Tech, Ken Murray, very, very good trainer. And looking at that injury right now, trying to figure out what to do with Byron Hanspard.
You had just mentioned in a ball game like this, the coaches just want the clock to run. You want to get out of here, and the last thing you want are injuries. And to have it to happen to the guy that's been your bell cow that's really pouring salt in the wound.
And late in the season like this, you get a cold night.
Field Scoble catches it and is out of bounds at the 2-yard line. McKelvey on the tackle.
You just want to keep him healthy. But Field Scoble, number 87, came to Texas Tech as a walk-on quarterback. Never had a B at Texas Tech. 4-point student with a big catch. Getting Tech in position to score.
I know that they are going up against substitutes in the secondary and the linebackers. But I want to make the point about Cavazos. You mentioned in the first half that you thought that Lethbridge was too conservative and was afraid to throw the interception. Cavazos has not been afraid to throw the ball down the field, and he's already got 3 big receptions.
Well, sometimes that can happen to you. Texas is going to have either too many men on the field or...
Caught it out of bounds. Bigger.
Texas tried to get a late substitution on the field. I believe it was Cody Danaher. And he didn't make it on the field. It's either going to be offside on Texas, and an illegal substitution, or 12 men on the field.
I was going to say it might have even been 12 men on the field, Mike. As the discussion goes on, I'm going to send along a special hello and get better quickly to Bill Sansing. He's a longtime friend. He was the first sports information director here at the University of Texas. It is a touchdown. They ruled that he did have 1 foot in bounds. So let me complete my thought here. Bill Sansing is recovering from a heart attack at Northeast Baptist Hospital in San Antonio. I need to add one more line here. Cards are welcome, but no visitors or phone calls yet, please. Bill, the first sports information director here at Texas, but went on to leave his mark nationally. Mike, he ran Golden Bear Corporation for the marketing portion of it for Jack Nicklaus for many, many years. So Texas Tech gets on the scoreboard. Bigger, at first they said that he did not have both feet in bounds, but they reconsidered. And another official obviously had a different view of it. They gave it to them. And now Texas Tech with the extra point attempt. Tony Rogers. Knocks it home, and we'll take a break with our new score. Texas 48 and Texas Tech 7. 48-7. Texas Tech breaks into the scoring column with 6:37 left in our ball game. Coming up later tonight on SportsCenter, we'll have live reports from Las Vegas. Also scores and highlights. It's later tonight on SportsCenter. Mike Adams back deep for Texas, but not very deep. He is pulled to within the 20-yard line as the Longhorns have the good hands group out there looking for the onside kick.
Mike Adams is, a lot of people consider him one of the better receivers in the country, and there's always talk about players leaving, but Mike Adams needs to stay here at the University of Texas because he's missed a couple spring practices, missed the fall camp, and his football is ahead of him. Pretty talented player. 6'1", 187-pound receiver.
Well, they pooch it, and it's going to be recovered at the 42-yard line. Tried to hit that void area as Westbrook. One of the guys of the good hands team makes the catch. Well, how about the running backs tonight for Texas? Sean Mitchell, 3 touchdowns, 105 yards on 11 rushes. And Ricky Williams, 15 times he carried it for 113 yards.
I want to ask you another question, Ron, as you look at John Makovic with a pretty good feeling tonight. Does Northwestern move ahead of Florida State? I don't think so, but I'm going to ask you.
Mike, with what they've done this year and the competition that they had played and the people they've beaten, the way they've beaten them, I wouldn't argue with it if it did happen.
Yeah, I don't want Mike Adamle now. He may get, he's got a couple minutes here to respond to that, but he probably feels they should. Mike, you down
well,
there?
I've seen Florida State. I've seen Northwestern. I don't think the Cats necessarily should be ranked ahead of the Seminoles, but I will say this, you know, they are no longer, they are a Cinderella story, but they are not a Cinderella team. Like Ron mentioned, if you beat Penn State, if you beat Michigan in Ann Arbor, you beat Notre Dame in South Bend, you're not a Cinderella team anymore.
No. You've already broken the slipper and the mold.
Now, the clock's not going to strike midnight for them until they go to an Alliance Bowl.
Darrell Wilson, the ball carrier here. Walton continues to operate at quarterback.
Mike is a little disappointed, though, that on TV and on the college football show today that Charlton Heston was quoting poetry there as Moses, and I thought it should be you.
Well, I was a theater and drama major myself, but my biggest play was a funny thing happened on the way to the Forum. He did the 10 Commandments, so.
Did you guys get beat by Southern Cal or what out there?
Under 6 minutes left to play in this one. Wilson again. And Mike Tirico, let's check back with you.
Well, the Northwest
playing that young freshman tailback for Nebraska. You talk about a talented player. We had him the first game against Oklahoma State in that Thursday game. You could just tell he was going to be a sensational back for Nebraska.
And Clayton is hit behind the line of scrimmage by Zach Thomas.
Living down here and following the Southwest Conference, what do you think at the strengths of the new league for Texas as they come into the new league? I think their division is going to be strong, the toughest division. You agree with that?
Yeah, I think I do agree with that. The way that it is set up. The thing that's going to be interesting, Mike, is this conference in all sports, the Big 12, that is, I'm speaking of, across the board is going to be extremely, extremely tough. And we'll give you some whys and what fors in just a minute. This is Bostic to handle the punting chores again. Well, here's a look at the Big 12. Baylor, Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, Texas, Texas A&M, and Texas Tech in the South. Colorado, Iowa State, Kansas, K-State, Missouri, and Nebraska in the North. Now, Mike, considering that last week 8 of the 12 of those teams were in the top 25 in football, in basketball last year, I know at one time at least 5, if not 6 of those clubs were in the top 25. Oklahoma State made it all the way to the Final Four. 2 years ago in baseball, 5 of those teams were of the 8 finally at the College World Series. You throw in wrestling, you throw in golf and tennis and track and swimming. This may turn into the best league in America, overall sports.
Are you trying to say that Steve Hatcho probably has a great job now as commissioner?
I think that Steve Hatcho is going to be extremely proud of the Big 12 Conference, yeah. The other thing, they're all going to have to learn with how to handle is knocking each other off. Cavazos right over the middle, incomplete. Brad Spinks, junior out of Duncanville, is who he wanted.
It's interesting that you say that, because when you increase the leagues, and you, just like the SEC does, when you look at those divisions, those are tough divisions, both of them. Terry Bowden said about a week ago, he was talking about your play away or 2 plays away from greatness, or dropping down to 3rd or 4th in that league.
Well, not only the team stuff, and then you throw in the rivalries, playing games away, and it's...
And you form some new rivalries now with this conference.
Yep. Cavazos almost intercepted. McKelvey had an opportunity to pick it off. Well, coming up next, the Residence Inn College Football Scoreboard. Northwestern magic continues. A scare for the Trojans. And the question, the thing we've been talking about here, who's number 1?
I don't think that's a question at all. I mean, I don't think there's any doubt who's number 1. It's Nebraska. Ohio State has a great football team. Florida has a very, very good football team also. But Nebraska, in my estimation, is the number 1 team in the country.
I don't think you get the argument here either. Brad Cade stands by the punt. Penalty stepped off, so Cade will move back and get this one at around the 6-yard line. White gets wrecked at the 35-yard line by Alan Wallace. But it's time now for our Visa Players of the Game. From Texas Tech, Byron Hansbard. 24 carries, 110 yards for Hansbard. And for Texas, let's go to the defensive side of the ball. Tony Brackens, 5 tackles, 3 for losses, and 7 hurries tonight. As part of their continuing effort to further the development of amateur athletics, Visa proud to donate $1,000 to each of these universities and $1,000 to the U.S. Olympic team on behalf of these athletes. Spike and Zach Thomas, the conversation going here. Greg Felix in the quarterback now for the Texas Longhorns. Hands it back to Wilson, and Wilson takes it to the 39-yard line. Texas led 28-0 at halftime. And the killer for Texas Tech is as we open play in the 3rd quarter, a couple of successful plays. They turned it over. Crenshaw picked up the ball, ran into the end zone for the touchdown, and the route was on.
Yeah, Texas never gave him a chance to get back in this ballgame right from that start. And that fumble, Crenshaw going in the end zone, it just put the lights out early.
Clayton carries up over the 45.
But this is still, as I said before, Texas Tech, they've got the remaining games. TCU, SMU, Houston. You're still looking at a bowl team here, a team that was at the Cotton Bowl last year. Spike Dykes has just done a remarkable job of building that program at Texas Tech in the Cotton Bowl against Southern Cal last year, and will be back bowling again this year.
About to go under 2 minutes left in our ball game. Wilson on the counter tray.
Has to be a very good win for John Makovico. He just, it's a big win for him and his coaching staff. They've got to be pleased with the way their ball club played. They played air free tonight and just really took the fight to Texas Tech from the opening gun.
Mike, I think your point in the first half also was extremely well taken in the fact that they took advantage and not only had a week off, but they took advantage of it because they looked razor sharp on offense, execution, and some plays that they had put in.
They made good use of their time.
Josh Sumner, the ball carrier here. Josh gets knocked down for a loss of a couple of yards. But Felix, he's out of Puff, Texas. 6'1", 185, a senior. Fourth-year walk-on. And these are some of the youngsters getting to play now. Those that are so important to you to get the day's work done at practice, but they rarely, if ever, get to play.
This is their reward. Their reward for practicing every day in those hot summer days, tour days. This is their reward to get out on the field.
That's Jeffrey Clayton. Well, let's see if this comes off. The ice attack. I think they're going for Gary Darnell, the defensive coordinator, though, aren't they? Yes. No, the defense is perfect tonight. They've hit everything that they've taken a shot at.
You know, that's a great scene there because you work so hard as a coach and you work so hard with the players and the feelings of chemistry on a ball club where there's so much respect and the togetherness and the team attitude, you just see it.
Well, now they're going to wind up with a penalty here, so Texas has to call a timeout rather than get the 5-yard delay penalty, and we have 3 seconds left in our ball game. So for Spike Dykes, back to the drawing board. And first and foremost, they got to get some offense going, Mike.
Yeah, he's got a chance. He'll get Darden back probably next week, but he's got a chance to win all 3 of those ball games and close out this season and make it a very successful season.
Because what happens here is you get a very good defense that goes away with the injured pride and psyche tonight because they got hammered, but they had to play all night also because the offense did not give them any help.
No, they didn't make the plays. He said it at halftime. They had opportunities to make plays. They just didn't make them, and then this game just became a snowball coming down the mountain.
That man knew exactly how huge this ball game was, and he not only won it, he won it going away. Well, that's the end of our ball game with the final score, Texas 48 and Texas Tech 7. For Mike Gottfried, Mike Adamle, this is Ron Franklin saying so long for Boston. Stay tuned now for the Residents in College Football Scoreboard. Next with
in-laws.